Hello, everybody. This is the SpectatorCast. I'm Zero Effect, and my co-host Fusion, Cool C McGee, and Four Wind. And today we're gonna do a little bit different, talk about some other games. But before we get to that, I'd like to introduce our very special guest, Dr.Hates. How are you doing?
Yo, I'm doing all right. How are you guys?
All right.
Not bad.
All right. So I guess before we get into our actual topics, kind of go over how you got into the fighting game scene and competitive gaming in general.
Okay. Well, I guess I said part of this a couple days ago and it was muted, so I'm
Right.
ultra sick of telling this story now.
Wow.
No, it's 2002, I think, is when SC2 came out in the arcades. I didn't have any real experience with fighting games. I didn't have any interest in fighting games, period. But I fell in with a bunch of nerds who spent a lot of time at the arcade, and I hung out there on like Friday and Saturday nights when I was in college. And they all played Soul Calibur 2, and I fucking really hate losing at anything, and so that was all the motivation that I needed. I just kept playing because I was getting my shit pushed in real bad, and I found that to be unacceptable. So I kept at it, and it just so happened that back at that point in time, sort of all throughout much of SC1 and through the first part of SC2, Tulsa, which is where I grew up. I mean, that was actually one of the major Soul Calibur scenes. And so the guys that I was playing with and ultimately, had to destroy, they were really good players, and I didn't know it. I didn't have a context. But through that, I just kind of got hooked, and I have been bumming around in Soul Calibur games more than a decade now.
So the guys you were playing before, are any of them known players now, or did they just kind of fall off?
No, they've pretty much scattered to the four winds. The guy who taught me my very first lesson in Soul Calibur was from this dude named Michael Jackson, who's this large Korean gentleman.
Right. I heard it.
Yeah, Mike is great, and so my first Soul Calibur lesson was he sat me down. He's like, okay, pick Nightmare, hold down forward and press B. I was like, man, I can do this.
I believe.
I had the gift.
It's the gift.
Wow.
Yeah, but so I think it was Mike. There was this guy Yuri who was big in SC1 and a little bit in SC2. JDOK, who took third at Nationals in SC2. But again, these people are not really in the scene too much anymore, or they're only in the scene in real tangential ways.
Xianghua Alpha, also.
Oh man, he still draws breath, and albeit in a labored fashion.
Wow.
I think I always thought beating him was kind of one of the big things that spurred
yeah.
you on.
Well, yeah, because that's what I tell people is, ultimately, this dude was so obnoxious and annoying and just objectively terrible at life. And I realized that he only cared about one thing, and that was this video game. And he based his self-worth on it, and he was just very arrogant and problematic toward new players. And I was like, wait a minute, if I get to where I can beat him all the time, I can find this one thing that he values in life and take it away from him, and make his life completely without meaning. So that became my goal. That was my North Star.
Oh my god. That's the meaning of hate. That is the meaning of hate, boys.
That's when hate was born,
too.
Yeah.
Pretty much worked.
Wow. So
Yeah.
in that era, who were the big guys to beat when you were starting in tournaments in Soul Calibur 2?
Well, when I was starting, all the Chicago guys were on top, and that's because they had the mother of unfair advantages because WC Maxi was like Namco's community guy at the time.
Right.
He lived there, and so they didn't just have the arcade system, and they weren't just playing for free. They had a developer board. So we didn't have any kind of frame data or anything like that, but they did. They were able to like slow things down and extract actual frame data, and they figured out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like they knew about step guard before anybody else did, and they didn't tell anyone. They knew about like all of these just frames and cancels and all this cheesy tech. So they pretty much ran through almost everybody at Nationals except for JD and his 5-move maxi because it was so roachy that there was nothing you could do.
Wow.
But yeah, so they were big early on, and then throughout the course of that game, they started when everybody else caught up in terms of tech. The Chicago guys started dropping off, and eventually it became the make an RTD show.
Yeah,
and it was that way for a pretty long time. After that, like at the very end of the game, you had. Eris was winning the world tournaments and stuff. DTN from France was always a big deal. Like the French players were very good at that time. I was a marginal figure at best. I won a few tournaments, but it took me a long time to get to that point.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I had to go learn how to be a turtle from the Dallas people before I could really start winning.
Yeah, and this was also a time when you couldn't just go online and watch people to study their habits and things.
True.
So,
yeah. Oh, absolutely. I remember, my first quote unquote Evo experience, because I didn't go. I didn't have opportunity. This is the very first time SC2 was in Evo. There were of course no streams. And there I think there were videos, but the videos came out years later, and they are potato handycam quality. So, I was in a fucking IRC chat room, and it was IRC, and there was a dude who was on the floor at Evo, typing a play-by-play of everything into the chat room, and that's how we were following it, because I'm a grandpa, and that's how we grandpas get down. but yeah, so you didn't see vids, and you couldn't play people very much. You had to physically go somewhere. It's very different world from what we have now.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess you started to get more into the spotlight in Soul Calibur 3 then, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
what was that?
It's Fusion's fault.
Yeah, I didn't expect the amount of time we ended up putting into that.
Well,
that's what happens when you have a living room set up and two people who just want to fight.
Pretty much. Yeah, Fusion and I were living together when SC3 dropped, and
wow.
Yeah, which was really convenient, but also it put me in another one of those situations where I was super furious all the time again, because prior to SC3's release, I was doing all right. I had my Nightmare, I had my 2G, I had Hell Sweeps.
Good character all around.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah,
right.
So,
that's right.
I did great, and then SC3 comes out, and
I played Cassandra in SC2 also.
Yeah, but
my character was okay.
You beat me so fucking bad when SC3 came out. It wasn't just hey, I was winning more and then it inverted. No, it was a horrible feeling. It was the worst thing ever. And I tried to play every character in the game, and they all pissed me off. And it didn't work. But I refused. I kept beating my head against that wall, and then one day the Astaroth thing started.
Astaroth came through.
Astaroth started to make sense to me after a little bit, and then I was like, oh my god, this has legs, and I got to where I was winning a lot more, and not just being a horrible fucking pushover. And then next thing I knew, I had gone, I won as a tournament. So I won a regional. I had a series of epic and eternally disputed first to tens with Mick.
Those were classic.
Put him in a cage. And I won this tournament in New Mexico where there weren't a ton of people there, but like everybody who entered this thing qualified for nationals. And when Omega came to the US and beat everyone's ass, I beat him by the skin of my teeth. So that was like my SC3 journey in a nutshell, and it really all goes back to getting fucked up in my living room and feeling horribly emasculated.
At the time, I wasn't really aware of that. We were just playing it.
It
seemed a little down, but I didn't realize it was for that.
Well, I mean, I would imagine it's kind of hard to tell your roommate I'm feeling emasculated right now.
You double down and you gotta push through the pain.
Like you guys have to realize they gave Cassandra in that game like everything and then some, and they took everything away from Nightmare. Like imagine if they just gave Kira a low throw for just like, does she need that? They gave Cassandra low throws plus range. She had like more range than Nightmare, it felt like.
Yeah, she had safety. She had like really nasty post GI options and things that were safe, and she was very solid.
Meanwhile, it was like that's really where I learned to play. Kind of, I don't play too YOLO a lot of the time. I feel, and that's probably why I like Patroclus, because he's just safe at huge damage moves. But you could do just anything you wanted with Cassandra, and it was like a good choice. Whereas you just stand there against Nightmare, and eventually you win.
Oh, damn. Yeah. He was so garbage.
And so Astaroth in Soul Calibur 3, where would you say he was as far as how good? Pretty much like he is now, like just he beat you.
Better than now.
He was top tier. Like so.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So the thing is, I have a pattern, and it's an inadvertent pattern, but like every Soul Calibur game that comes out, I choose a new main, because my previous main gets like nerfed and disappoints me, and I always manage to choose a character that's pretty good, pretty good to extremely good, but yet is like horrendously incomplete in some obvious way that pisses me off. So like SC2 Nightmare is fantastic, but he has a giant hole where if you have a tech crouching horizontal move, he can't touch you. SC3 Astaroth, easy top tier, dominant against much of the cast. He has a couple of matchups that are really nasty, like where he just can't do a whole lot. Like Setsuka would wreck him. Maxi had like weird Asta only combos that did extra bonus damage for no damn reason, etc. Like SC4 Cervantes, who I played, he was great, except his sidestep was ass and slow. And that was kind of problematic. And now I found Algal, who I absolutely adore, but he's glitchy as shit, and he can't sidestep either. So, yay.
Yeah. Well, you played Cervantes in 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I always played him as like a secondary, but I picked him as a main in 4 because SC4 Astaroth didn't make any sense to me. He became like a 50-50 guessing character, whereas in 3 he was much more of he could legitimately zone in 3. Like you could play him very conservatively, foist risk off onto the other person, make them fight through the wall of bullshit to get to you, and then grab them. Like whereas in 4 it was much more like run up and hey, what am I gonna do?
Did he have a legit Punisher in that game?
Oh, yeah, not great ones. Like it was 6xB could punish, but like,
and that was a mid back then, right?
Wait, which game were you mean? In 4 or 3?
Soul Calibur 3.
Yeah, in 3, 6xB was an I-15 mid that was safe.
Right. Okay.
So eat all the dicks. And then in SC3AE it got even dumber. Like, so I legitimately don't like AE because I felt like Astaroth was busted. Like, it wasn't even fun for me because that 15 frame safe mid in Arcade Edition got this slide stun that guaranteed, like, you could either take a guaranteed like 75 damage off of it, no muss no fuss, or get like a or you got a 2-way guess that was like Half-Life. Like, so normal hit, they do this weird slide, you dash in and either quick headbutt for a third of their life bar, or if they try to tech, you could like 2-2-B4 and air grab them and just take every last one of their cookies. They're stupid. Wow. Oh my god, wait a minute, time out. We have new Taco Bell emotes.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
New tech.
New Taco Bell emote tech.
Right?
Chicken biscuit.
This changes everything.
It's free advertising. Taco Bell needs to step it up. Sponsor us.
Yeah.
Sponsor us, please.
Can't accept this.
Hello?
I'm gonna go loot
Oh, he's back. Are we back? We back?
Yeah, we're back. I don't know why, but apparently my Skype has a 20-minute lifespan before it implodes.
That's awful. I really think Chicken Biscuit is the best of these. Not only because it's facing in another direction from the others, and that shows me that Chicken Biscuit goes its own way.
You meant Chicken Biscuit. You meant Chicken Biscuit's the best looking one on the thing.
Yeah, I would
like in real life.
I've actually had the Chicken Biscuit. It's actually all right. They have like this honey jalapeno sauce.
Oh, is it a strong independent biscuit?
Yes.
Can you guys put together like a full tier list for these so I can kind of figure out which emotes and which tacos are the best?
Oh my god! All right, where are we at now in terms of what we're talking about?
We were on memory lane and that bullshit.
And then Hates got abruptly sidetracked by the amazing Taco Bell emotes.
There are no Taco Bell emotes.
They are amazing.
It's like way more important than anything I have to say.
Oh my god! All right. Should we talk? Should we go to a topic? I guess.
All right.
Yeah, sure.
That's good.
Should we talk about the ever greatness of Mortal Kombat 10?
We should.
Great game.
Yeah, I think so.
Looks really nice.
It's pretty fun.
Well, has everyone here played it? Or?
No, I have not gotten to play it yet, unfortunately.
Okay.
When do you buy
I actually have.
You guys can inform me about this because I'm interested. I mean, the only Mortal Kombat I ever got to play was Mortal Kombat 9 with my cousins who were actually really good at the game, and they both played Sector, so it was annoying.
Oh yeah.
Mortal Kombat was was fun if you played Cabal. I mean.
Yep.
Yeah, Cabal or Cyrex.
Yeah.
But I've played it a little bit. I've seen a couple of tournaments for it. But I'm curious as to those who own the game and play it somewhat regularly. What are your opinions of the game so far?
Am I the only one that owns it?
I own it, but I have not played it regularly. I've probably put like 20 hours into it.
I really like it.
Yeah, I like it, actually. I've always had trouble with 2D games, and this one seems fairly less complex than the others. And they the different styles and stuff are pretty easy to understand.
Yeah.
Like you can every character has 3 different, I forgot what they call it. Variations. So like you can get, for example, with Aaron Black, who I'm playing, you can get like a shotgun as like and you get extra moves with that, or he has like you can stick with his pistol attacks and use a different variation that gives him better moves with those. And then I think the third one is he gets the sword or something, so that there's some meaty combos you get with that, but I don't know them. It's pretty fun.
Like, I mean, the main thing, I don't think that I don't think that you like Mortal Kombat because it's necessarily simpler. Like the main thing that I observed, and this was true with Mortal Kombat 9, and I think it continues, is that it's a really good 2D game for people who play 3D fighters.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, well, because it's based on stuff like hit level mix-ups and other things that are semi-intelligible. Not every single attack comes out in 2 frames and is plus 10 frames on block. Now, some of them are, but so mix-ups happen and situations happen in ways that follow the logic of a 3D game far more than they follow the logic of block string, tick throw, whatever. So.
Yeah. I don't know what you just said. What's tick throw?
We also have a block button, so you don't have to worry about cross-ups like in traditional 2D fighters.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes, this is a great game now.
A tick throw is like, basically the way it works is if you block a certain string or a move, I can command throw you, and you have to jump or backdash.
Okay.
And if you don't do that, you'll be grabbed.
That's not... tick throw is just like throw out a poke and then grab afterward. Like,
isn't it a poke that you
like
can
a half, do a half string and then
or ideally like one move. But yeah, like whatever it is. I mean, they're sort of transferable concepts, from like Street Fighter to 3D fighters, but. Yeah, it's way easier to see the path, like between Mortal Kombat and 3D fighters.
Yeah.
Now, actually, correct me if I'm wrong on the tick throw. Isn't that was implemented in Soul Calibur 4? Because I remember Mitsu had, I think, one. I think you would do 6B and then you would automatically go into A plus G. I think is that the same concept, or am I mixing this?
No, I mean, it's not something that's canned.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a, it's just something you do.
Okay. I mean, I think I understand what you mean.
Basically, you're just poking them to get them to block and expecting them to block, and you use a grab to counter the block. It's not a string. It's not a string of any kind or anything like that.
All right. But I would say, I guess, for Mortal Kombat 10, since I don't know, I am definitely gonna get it now, just because from what I've heard from you, from the little bit I've heard so far, and then I'd also like to talk about McGee, the one tournament I think I saw, or I think it was like the only one where I think like SpectatorCast, Perfect Legend, and like all of them. Yeah. Did you guys all see that, or at least heard of it at least?
I watched bits and pieces.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like basically, when I first saw the tournament, I really just thought it was going to be like kind of just based off of like who was generally the better player, not really much the character itself. But then I saw Raiden get blown the fuck up. So I mean, I don't know. Let me hear your thoughts on this tournament from all of you guys.
Like, what is your implication with regard to Raiden there?
I don't know, like the guy who played. I don't know, like I was thinking, was it more the guy himself? Because I mean, I'm not super in like knowledgeable about Mortal Kombat myself. I'm just more wondering, was it the character, or was it more the player in that regard?
It was a little bit of both, because they only had 2 days to learn the game. So
yeah, I figured it was quite rushed because I mean, it just came out. So
you got 2 days of game knowledge. There's lots of shenanigans.
Yeah,
but isn't that SpectatorCast guy kind of a prodigy at games in general? Like, he's pretty young and he plays some other games at high level, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That's what I heard about.
He's a monster. He's like a monster at DOA, monster at Mortal Kombat. Also, Injustice. I think he a few others. I don't know, but in general,
that's cool to see.
Yeah, SpectatorCast is pretty much really, really strong at making you have to guess 50-50s and get them being wrong about it. And a lot of the characters he plays really favor that. Like, he played Aaron Black, who can basically force you to guess by dealing chip damage with the spike traps and things like that, forcing you to guess high or low, and pretty much getting resets off of it. And he pretty much did the same thing in Injustice with Batgirl. So when you have to face that and you're wrong, it's really tough to try and overcome it. And he's also pretty, like, he seems like he knows I'm not going to say matchups because I mean it was only 2 days out, but he knows how to get in his opponent's head. It looks like when I watch him play.
I mean, I'm assuming since I'm already guaranteeing this is probably not the only time he's played Perfect Legend, because I've seen on multiple occasions he's probably played Perfect many times, and I'm probably thinking that was probably another thing, like you said, he probably got in his head is another thing, because I think those two go back and forth at it quite a bit. So
yeah.
Well, I mean, the other thing that you got to consider is when you're talking about a game that's so brand new that it still kind of smells like the manufacturing process. there are certain things that are going to be just inherently stronger. Like if you want to play defensively, fuck you can't, because you haven't seen enough stuff. You don't know all the frames.
Right.
You're not going to be optimal with your punishes. So in that kind of situation, it's whoever can find the most overwhelming stuff is going to be at an advantage. And if you have a particular player who has a certain affinity for just trying to overwhelm people, they're going to be at advantage too. Like there's not a whole lot we can draw in terms of conclusions from something like that, other than saying, well, okay, what was this a cool tournament? Was it hype? Did it make the game look decent? And I mean, it kind of did. And honestly, like other things, was it like Northwest Major, whatever
Northwest
the hell
Major,
that was?
Yeah.
That in a lot of ways that made the game look more interesting and intelligible to me, just because you got like an additional week or so worth of meta, like, and I was already like starting to see more patterns emerge, which is kind of cool. Of course, like it's all going to go to hell here in a couple of days when they patch it to oblivion.
Yeah,
but
Rest in peace.
whatever.
I've heard it's been like a reoccurring thing. Like as soon as NetherRealm, I believe the Twitch channel is called, as soon as they go live, they just pretty much it's a mountain of complaints that either whatever is in the mass majority gets nerfed. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, we'll get into that in a little bit, but
That's why
I
you
want
gotta
to say that
cage
the
the
thing,
plebs.
the main thing I took away from the Fatal 8 tournament was in a specific match with Perfect Legend and the MIT, I think, the guy who played Scorpion.
Yeah.
So when the variation idea first came out, I was curious to see if the meta would revolve around mastering all of your characters' variations. And this was the only match that I saw where somebody was losing with one variation and switched to another and just completely turned the tide of the entire matchup without having to switch character. And I think that going forward, depending on patches and whatnot, but going forward, it's probably going to be extremely crucial for whatever character the person mains to know how to deal with all of the variations for those characters, just based on that alone, because MIT was down like 2 or 3 to nothing or something like that, and ended up winning the entire set after the change. So, and this was first to 5 tournament. So
yeah.
I thought that was probably more telling than the rest of the stuff as far as how the game's going to shape up in a few months' time. So,
Oh yeah. I have a feeling that the game is probably going to take anywhere from like, oh god, I'm gonna give like a random estimate, like I guess 3 months or even longer, depending on like how long it takes to like fully like get everything completely balanced. Because from what I've heard, since like I said, I'm very inexperienced with Mortal Kombat. Is it natural for like to have like 8-2 matchups in that game?
Yep.
I mean,
yeah. Well, yeah.
All right, okay. Because I mean,
we're not sure about this one because again, the variation thing that could change matchups by itself depending on what the variation does.
Okay.
But Mortal Kombat 9 and the previous ones, there were definitely really lopsided matchups like that.
Well, and that's
How about-
something that's endemic to 2D fighters as well. I mean, you see that in Street Fighter also.
Yeah.
Like it's all it's highly matchup contingent.
How about among the top tiers? Is it still like that, or are we talking about this shitty character has such a hard time? I mean, this shitty character can play against most characters okay, but can't at all against one.
In most cases, that's what defines the shitty character, because they might be pretty good. They might be pretty good, But if they lose to top 5 characters really bad, then they're going to look much shittier than they should be. So,
like completely unviable.
because everybody's going to play the top tiers, and so
Stick to the top tiers, man. Yeah,
Top
freaking.
tier.
Want to be good? Pick a top.
But are
tier.
you able to if you think you're picking a top tier and then you just run into your bad matchup? It's like it's like a 2 to 8 matchup. Is it like that, or there's some top tiers that at least have an even match?
If your
against other
character
gods?
is like, generally, if your character is truly at the top of the tier list, it's because their moveset allows them to cover for any bullshit that might happen. So generally, you're not going to have those kind of matchups if that character really is top tier. I always think, and I don't know what's going to happen, obviously, with the patches, but I always feel like Kung Lao, it will always be a top tier character just based on his moveset. It doesn't matter if they nerf his damage. It doesn't matter if they nerf certain properties, but he has certain tools. He has like one of the fastest launchers in the game that can come out pretty much at any time. It's good anti-air and everything. He has a projectile that hits low. He's got strings that hit overhead that can be canceled into a projectile that hits low. He has the most air mobility in the game. So it's like he has all the tools that he would need to cover all of his bases. But a character like that, I can't ever see being bad. I can't ever see a character like that have really bad matchups. So
the thing about Kung Lao, and this is awesome. With that EX spin, it comes out in -2 frames and has good range. Like if you want context, like you put it in Soul Calibur terms, it's sort of like if Pyrrha's stab, launched into a full combo and anti-aired and basically did everything. Oh, it had a hit of armor on it.
right.
Character with a tool like that, pretty good. But there's plenty of shit like that in Mortal Kombat, and but also it strikes me as kind of interesting to sit and have these sorts of discussions about like how the tiers work or how the characters work when everything is so very much in flux with the NetherRealm game, and it'll be like that for quite a while probably.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Huh.
Well, one of the things that that people are complaining about, and they did it in Injustice as well, although I'm not quite sure for the same reasons. Most of the complaints that are on Test Your Might now have to do with how weak zoning seems to be when you introduce the run mechanic, when you introduce just the frame data in general supporting more rushdown heavy characters. So I haven't played all the characters and, I haven't looked at too much of their frame data, but that seems to be the overwhelming complaint that's come up so far. And I don't mean just like regular nobodies. These are like top players who are complaining about it too. So.
Yeah. Well, like you look at a character that's supposed to be kind of built around zoning, like Summoner Quan Chi. You can tell that his shit is real zoning oriented, and it kind of works. We saw that. We saw that over the weekend. But to really, to get the bat out and to start zoning, you have to land a full combo first. So, so you can't just default into a zoning mode unless the other guy lets you, and there's no real incentive for the other guy to let you because fuck it.
Oh my.
Yeah. Like Pig of the Hut just recently made a big post about how he's going to drop Kenshi and why. I didn't really read the whole thing, but generally it's the same thing that he was saying back when Injustice was out and Sinestro was pretty bad. Time for people who are actually putting the work in and trying to perfect zoning, it really does hurt their gameplay significantly if they don't have something to cover their bases and close. What, did you drop again?
Yeah.
Oh.
Is everybody else still here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Okay.
Yup.
All right.
Hang on, I'm gonna ask them where it dropped so we can try and pick up. Ugh.
All right.
We were talking about Sinestro, and then it dropped.
Yeah, we were currently talking about how he dropped it and all that, all that stuff, and then Zach went on about it. So I hope it. Yeah, he was talking about Sinestro or something.
I mean, I'll just wrap it up again in case it didn't catch. But basically, the zone characters have issues frame data wise, and if they don't have something to cover their bases when they have to inevitably fighting close, then it really puts a strain on those who are trying to play that style. Even though most casual players and younger players feel like zoning is too strong as it is. So,
all right. I guess I don't know. I'm trying to think of something else. I had actually had a thought about one more thing about Mortal Kombat. Unless you guys had anything else you want to talk about, see if I can try and remember this.
Did you forget it now? Or?
I forgot a while ago. I was listening to you continue to talk about it. So.
All right, I was. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know. Like I was playing Melina last time. I might end up playing a different character. I don't know yet, but for right now, she seems like she has good tools. It's just some of the right tools that she would need, like the vortex resets and stuff that most of the top tier characters have. She's kind of lacking in. So we'll see if that ends up being a problem later. I feel like it will, but you never know. Because I mean, of course, after 2 or 3 patches, she could be stupid tier. So who knows?
Yeah, well, and if I could interject here, because that that sentiment kind of points to what I think is it's the biggest issue when it comes to NRS game, because there's within fighting games, everything that we do, it's contingent upon emergent strategies, emergent behavior. It's stuff that arises. The more you play, the more you think about certain problems. You kind of see things fall into place in some ways. You build your library of expertise within a fairly narrow frame, right? It's
right.
But that's what we do, and that's pretty much the criterion by which we distinguish ourselves as good players. But there's a tension between developing emergent strategy and just how often a game is iterated on. Every time there's a major balance revision, every time you have a patch, you're not resetting that to 0, but you're certainly knocking people back a ways. And so the thing that I find most interesting about MKX now and previously with Injustice and MK9 is kind of trying to figure out or just observing and seeing how long it takes for the metagame to reach a stable point, because you not only have that initial period of fluctuation and discovery that we see with every fighting game, but that's compounded by the fact that we're going to have all these weird knee-jerk patches. The NRS dudes, they're really passionate about making games, and you can tell that they care a lot more than, say, somebody like Namco. Churn out hentai games or whatever. But I think one of the consequences of that passion and that caring is they just want to they're going for it, and they're changing things up and trying to make everything super accessible, and we ended up with a product that's kind of forever in flux.
Well, since you pointed that out, that kind of leads into one of the topics. How long do you think a game should be left to breathe before any patches or anything should be even considered?
Oh, shit.
I mean, I think there's some stuff that they should just be fixing no matter what. When a character's hitbox doesn't work, or patching out infinites.
Right, yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Right.
But major gameplay changes, I think maybe you should wait at least a month before you. Probably longer.
Yeah, I would say 3 months minimum, if not more so. 3 months, 4 months, maybe even 6 months. You want to fix obvious game-breaking shit. but things you need time for the metagame to reach at least some level of maturity before you start tinkering with it, because otherwise, I mean, it's like it's kind of like going in and performing surgery on someone without ever having even studied anatomy. It's like, well, I saw a cartoon and I kind of know what people look like. I'm just going to reach in there and take his guts out. You might want to fucking check and see how it all works first.
Yeah.
So I mean, with Soul Calibur 5, it was what, maybe 2-3 months in when we got the first patch that changed the backdash and changed most of the changes that have stuck with us today.
Everyone quit.
And then, well, I mean, but I'm just saying that's about the amount of time that it took.
Yeah.
And some people then said that was too soon. And in some ways they're right, because if you were to ask me when that patch first came out what I thought Leisha needed to be buffed in, I would have given you a laundry list of things, but having played her now for more than 2 years after the fact, the list is significantly shorter of what I think she would need to be a good character. So if we're talking about truly knowing the meta of a game, that could take years to develop overall. And who wants a patch like 4 years down the road when all you've known is this version of the game? It's like, at that point, you're really, aren't you running the risk of running people off then more so than the beginning?
I want to patch 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road. Like, that's fantastic. Who are you going to run off at this point, McGee? Like,
Yes.
Well, I'm just saying in general, like, don't you think it would be easier to get it out the way now as opposed to waiting to try and change it later?
Well, getting it out the way, I mean, that I don't know if I think that's the right mentality for it, because it's I don't think you should approach a patch as something that's like, well, we need to do this to make people feel like we care. Because that's a half step at best away from knee-jerk bullshit, and knee-jerk bullshit is seldom good. Like, for example, one of the reasons Viola is Viola in this game is that people cried and said she was unviable early on, when she was like, she operated in essentially the same way. She just took like a third of your life when she hit you instead of all of it, and and they gave her things that made her just a damaged monster, and it was really. It was really to placate whiny people, and that was whining that was predicated on an incomplete knowledge of the game system. So there's a risk involved, and so to approach it as though this is something that we must do seems like it's not the best strategy. That's right. Malice says you need to let a game marinate. It's true.
Marinate.
Let all the juices seep in.
There's got to be a Taco Bell reference in here somewhere.
Well, I'm assuming Taco Bell marinates everything, particularly. Like, I know that like the famous Cantina bowls are well marinated.
Their 2-item health menu.
I don't think there's anything healthy about it. If you want health, you go fresco. Like fresco soft tacos. Yeah, you can make a heart healthy and calorie conscious fast food eating experience for yourself. It's great. I'd go there right now, but I'm on the horn with you people.
The mouse says, then you season it. So marinate and season a game.
Okay.
I guess for my idea, basically how patching should work for a game is, like I said, like basically let it live out where it can at least establish some sort of meta or just a general basis of which everyone can at least understand at one point, not where basically only like a certain few. And then like you said, just go in blindly and start just trying to like, all right, let's see what I can hit on the dartboard. That's what I'm going to patch. So, or I'm going to nerf or something like that.
People are serious about Sub-Zero right now.
Which is dumb. He's got one safe way to clone. But this is also like, so there are a couple of levels of bizarre, horrible bullshit to deal with when you're thinking about balancing fighting games. For one, it is basically universally true that after a couple of months anyway, a substantial portion of your players are going to know more about a game than the people who designed it. Like, this is a hurdle. But also number two is that of those players, a tiny minority are going to actually have a sense of how the game works, and the rest are going to be basically lunatics. and it will be loud. And it's like the less you know, the louder you are.
Well, that's another important thing, because the thing about NRS games is that it's not so much that they patch early, it's that they patch often.
Yes.
And because they're known for patching often, a lot of people think they have more influence than they do and figure, well, NRS is always watching, always listening, and I have a voice now. So if we create enough commotion on a forum and news of this gets back to NetherRealm, there's a good chance that what we want will happen, and that shouldn't really be the perception. I don't think that, if we make enough noise, then change. But I mean, that seems to be the case.
Well, yeah.
Other areas, it seems to be the same. It seems to be the case in life too, but just in terms of fighting games.
Well, consider what is NRS's value proposition here. Like, are they in the business of providing people with a stable and fair competitive platform, or are they in the business of providing people with a game that folks will buy and like to the point where they will then subsequently buy DLC packs? So they're beholden at least as much to the whiny, crazy people as to the ones who are invested in like competitive balance, if not more so. Like, it's a hell of a road to try to navigate.
I can imagine.
I guess in that case, I would say, if you're going to make a patch, wait till the DLC is fully released, as opposed to doing it with each character, like they did with Injustice.
Yeah.
That would probably, that would probably at least, cross some of those lines off. But like Injustice had like 8 new characters, so like 6 to 8 patches is too many for any fighting game, I think. But
actually,
then again, I am convinced that Injustice was mainly used as a test for MK10, so that's probably why that was the case.
But actually, let me ask you guys a question. Ben with V says that Spectral ermac was banned before, like.
Yep.
What's the thing behind that? I'm curious.
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't know about that.
So in his Spectral version, he can fly, and I don't know what the move is called, but basically, if he does this move while flying, it automatically builds a bar of meter. So you can start a combo and build 2 bars of meter during the combo.
Oh wow!
Does that like right, can he input that meter that he builds in the combo, or like he just builds the meter and it's like kind of like the pat game of like 6B plus K gets all that meter.
It's like, okay, he can start a combo with no meter, build a meter during the combo and use it in the combo.
Oh, then
and then
I
build one
see.
after it ends.
Yeah, or he can just build the 2 damn bars of meter and always have access to breaker, which is, I mean, that's significant.
Yeah, that's an oversight.
Does it make him extremely tier broken or anything like that?
I don't know. He's banned. I haven't seen him in tournament.
Oh, they just got him completely gone before they could even see this.
And the big thing that you need to take this with a grain of salt is Tom Brady is the one who is leading the boat for the ermac bans.
That man, Bill.
Oh man. Oh my goodness.
He knows better than you.
Well,
okay, he just knows everything.
It's true. It's fucking true.
We just have to accept it.
Did like anybody actually show interest in the character beforehand? Like anyone like be noticeable? Like say like, hey, I'm gonna try and play this character, and then I don't know where it's like he gets banned, and it's like, well, shit, there goes my character.
I mean, I'm sure there is, because there was a couple of guys who played ermac and MK9 who, after dropping him, went on to be good players. So, I would imagine that they tried him again in this game. I mean, I don't know who specifically was the one that brought this to Tom Brady's attention, but
Well,
Tom Brady.
I mean, that does seem like an oversight. So I understand that as far as needing to be addressed. But
that and Katana has infinites. Just throwing that out
Yeah.
there.
I would let Spectral rock because I know it's gonna get hotfix. Like, let it run for like the week and a half it's gonna be in the game.
I mean, that's what they did with Cabal and MK9, and it was just like, all right, when is this patch getting here? I can't get here fast enough.
Never.
So, I mean, yeah. And the other thing is, I think people assume that that NetherRealm doesn't know any of the things that are happening in the game, and I don't believe that to be true. Like, they assume that once the game is released, they thought it was perfect, and that's almost never the case. But like, there's bound to be oversights, and I don't mean like glitches so much, but just in terms of logic and how they program certain things. Like, for example, Melina has her dive kick, her teleport kick. That move is basically created to be a counter zoning tool. So when you read a projectile, you use it and it gets you in, but they made it minus on hit. So now, after reading your projectile correctly, you're either forced to burn meter or face whatever the hell 50-50 your other opponent can throw at you. And now it's like you're in a lose-lose situation. And I don't think that was intentional. It remains to be seen if they address it, but it's just one of those things that you might not be looking at the time when you're trying to make all the frame data. Because that's another problem, is people are saying the frame data is not correct that's in game. So
It's not.
So
Is all of it
there you go.
incorrect, or just certain characters?
We have a video.
Some it's not all incorrect, but I think a decent chunk of it is, and it was like that with
And it was all wrong
Injustice.
in Injustice.
yeah. Well, hell, you want to talk about weird design decisions? Because I'm pretty sure this is still true. I know it was with MK9.
I don't know, Hates. It's just
He back.
we just can't seem to get a clean one.
All right, McGee's return.
All right.
I'm back.
Okay.
You listening?
Now,
Yep.
what was being said?
I was saying that they made like a 2D fighting game, and instead of hitboxes, they used 3D collision detection, which is so fucking dumb.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, well, it was like that in MK9, which is why you got like some weird stuff where you have certain combos that only worked like if you're facing one way or the other. And I believe it's still the case. I believe it's still the case now. And that's like super unnecessary and problematic. Like, you have to do 3D collision detection in a 3D game. It's a necessary evil, but like, there's no reason not to just like use the more consistent option if you're only on a 2D field.
So I guess that would make sense then for some of the whiffs, but yeah, because that's another thing. Like, Melina's her what would essentially be a 2A in 3D games. Her down punch, her down jab, just completely whiffs, even at point blank. Like, if you're blocking it, it whiffs completely on it, and it's weird. So I'm sure there's going to be like those kinds of fixes, but I think there's planned to be 4 DLC characters, so that's anywhere from 2 to 4 patches left.
There's 4
Pretty
announced right now, and I think Jason comes out the 5th if you have the season pass.
Right. Now Tanya is supposed to come out in June.
Oh boy, all the more patches they get.
No patches.
I predict Tom Brady banning Jason.
Well, don't worry.
That is my
There will
prediction.
probably be a video of Tom Brady yelling.
Well,
about Jason.
he allowed Freddy Krueger, so
Hey man, this is based off Tom Brady's favorite horror movie. So if he doesn't like Friday the 13th,
I don't even know the
What are
dude
you gonna do?
personally.
Hey, would you like to tell us your opinion about Tom Brady?
No, I can't. I can't get into Bill stories. I told you, like, gestures are necessary. He's a character. Like, that dude. I gotta say, like, I have never in my life met anybody quite like Bill. Like,
Let me ask you a different question. If you had to choose between being locked in a room with Bill or Sword Lord, which...
Jesus.
so that's kind of unfair. Well, because the thing is, how long am I gonna be in this room?
One day.
Okay. Because like I know from experience that it's difficult to sleep when Bill's around because he's very loud. But like Sword Lord smells bad. It smells really bad. And I also really like I can't fucking stand that dude, so I just don't want to deal with it.
The most.
Well, I hope that answered your question, McGee.
The most favorite questions ever on the stream.
Cutting insight here.
All right.
Bill Lord. Yes,
Lord.
Bill Lord.
Oh man,
Should we
okay. So
get-
hold on, because I'm gonna have to go before too long. So I do want to tell the perfect legend
yes.
story.
All
Like,
right. Here we
as
go.
you requested. It's not that there are a couple, and like individually they're not that fantastic, but as a gestalt, like it's all sort of amazing. Like one of my first real interactions with Carl was like we were in Dallas chilling out, and I don't sleep very much. And so it just so happened that it's like 3 a.m. or something, and I was awake. I was like the only person who was awake, and he was up because he had slept all day or something like that, and he was hungry, and he didn't have a car, and so he came up to me. He's like, "Hey man, could you take me to Walmart? I want to buy some food." And I was like, "No."
Just outright.
Yeah,
No.
like, damn no, I'm not taking you to Walmart. It's 3 a.m. I've got things to do on the internet right now. And, and he like wheedled me for a little bit, and I was like, no, absolutely not. So there was some back and forth negotiation, and actually I should have prefaced this. So like earlier in the day, he like he was waving around this $50 gift card to like Best Buy or Circuit City or something, and he wanted cash, so he was trying to sell it. And I was like, okay, how much do you want for it? And he's like, well, it's $50. I'm like, yeah, I know, but it's $50. It can only be spent at one spot. So how much do you want for it?
Well, it says 50, so pretty clearly it's got to be.
Exactly. I was like, why? You want me to take like regular ass money that I can spend anywhere and turn it into bullshit money that I can only spend in one place, and you don't want to give me a discount on that? Okay.
Oh,
So
wow.
I let it drop, but then at 3 a.m. when he really wanted to ride to Walmart, I thought this would be a good time to reintroduce the gift card issue. And I was like, yo, Carl, remember that gift card? Like, how about you just give it to me and I'll take you to Walmart? He's like, hell no. And I was like, really? Because you seem awfully hungry and nobody else is awake.
Wow, man.
And so, yeah, and so I took him to Walmart and I got a gift card and it was pretty cool. And then there was like a different time when we got him to do wall push-ups, which are what they sound like. He leaned against a wall and did push-ups. He did like 6, and for 2 days he bitched about how sore he was. He's a glorious person.
Hey man, you get a free gift card out of him.
Yeah, no, he's really hilarious. I don't have any kind of problems with Carl.
So it wouldn't be incorrect to call him Push-Up Legend, right?
Oh God, dude, he got better at it. Because when I saw him at MLG like 3 years ago, I saw him at MLG. Like he was walking in the hotel lobby, and I was, I think, talking with Biglis or something. I was like, "Carl, push-up contest now!" So we got down and we busted him out, and and he did a much more respectable job. So like I could tell that he was training and becoming more athletic in the interim. Good on him.
Good on him.
Wow. And we see this championship belt picture on the stream.
Amazing.
Like that is resplendent right there.
The one and only perfect legend.
Yeah. Well, I guess you can't be good at everything.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious. I mean, wall push-ups in general are hilarious, but Jesus.
Yeah, well, like we had a lot of weird sort of physical challenges over the course of like a 3-day period, and I can't explain it, but it was pretty funny.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Like it actually, like so during that same period, like Bill did all right. Tom Brady, like he had some good push-up showings, and then everyone got fucking schooled by Link RKC because he'd already become like a little mini roid monster by that time.
Wow.
This is definitely now my favorite part of the stream.
Just random. I saw David playing random Soul Calibur 5 like a week ago. It's
Really?
crazy. Yeah, he joined my room. He was like, "Hey, doing Just Friends with Cervantes here." I'm like, okay.
Why not?
Who are you talking about?
The youngest Link RKC had 2 brothers. They all 3 of them played Soul Calibur,
Oh,
and
shit.
kind of in like similar style. But Link was always kind of the king. And then, yeah, they would all do fairly well at tournaments. David, the youngest one, David. I remember he beat Kayane in SC4. I heard she started
That's the
crying.
Valdo?
Oh,
Yeah.
Kayana
Valdo.
tears.
Yep.
That's a reoccurring thing.
Yep.
Esam or something?
No,
Esam
Isam's
was
a different
Voldo
guy.
player. That's a totally different
Oh.
guy.
Oh, well then.
Isam's actual given name is Isam.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, okay.
Isam is Isam.
Oh, for some reason I thought he was the one that beat Kayane. Okay, maybe I got it wrong.
I think
Maybe.
there's been a lot of people who've beaten Kayane.
Yeah, Alpha Male. is
Well, I mean
David's
Voldo.
nickname.
Oh, Alpha Male. Okay, all right.
David Evers. Sean Evers is Link, and then Chris.
Yeah.
I don't know if Chris. I think Chris just went by Chris Evers in
yeah,
tournament.
he never had a name.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh man.
Yep.
Wow.
Alpha Male is Link RKC's youngest brother,
Oh,
JJJ. And all 3 of them are like bodybuilders or something now. Actually, I don't know if Chris is. Chris is like a doctor.
Oh my
same
goodness.
difference.
It's just smooth transition. Soul Calibur to PhD.
Well, was it PhD or MD?
Or
Like,
MD. Yeah.
MD, like, people keep telling me I'm not a real doctor, and I'm like, whatever, man. Medical doctors are basically slaves. It's like, they gotta take all these restrictive vows to do no harm. Like, I want no part of it.
I was gonna say you can't. He's definitely not the only one that made the transition to doctor. I mean,
Yeah.
You know, but
Dr. Tom.
Dr. Tom.
I forgot
There was a guy from my
Dr. Tom existed.
the original
Oh.
doctor before any of
Yeah.
you had your credentials.
Yo, Dr. Tom.
There was a guy in my local scene who played Talon, and his nickname was Dr. Tom. And he was just okay. And then he moved randomly around the country. Like, he lived in California, I think, for a while. Yeah. I don't know. I think he's back in Wisconsin. I don't know.
Huh.
wow.
Good stuff.
Well, there's also Dr. Dog.
Yeah.
Yo, yeah, there's definitely Dr. Dog. The authorities are aware of him.
Oh my god.
He's registered. He's in the system.
He's not a registered doctor.
Do not let him put his hands on you. He is not a licensed doctor.
Oh no! Shots fired.
Oh man.
Dr. Russell's.
What?
Dr. Russell's, yes.
Oh my god.
Seems Malice is familiar with Dr. Dog.
And touching.
It's a touching story.
Damn. Oh, stop, please, with the pun. It's too bad.
Oh,
Also,
man.
ready to have his inspection.
Oh my goodness. Ugh. Past inspection. This is so bad. Oh,
Oh no.
help me.
It's
Oh.
not-
All right. So, oh my god, we've gotten so sidetracked. What are we talking about even anymore?
Who cares?
Who
Go
cares?
with the flow, man.
Dr. Dog is more important.
Dr. Dog is now.
Just watch out.
Watch out.
Watch out.
Oh goodness.
So, well, because we got other stuff on the topic list here, we could lightning round some of this shit.
Lightning
All right,
round.
lightning round. All right.
Lightning round.
I like this.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Read them off.
Pros and cons of shit talk and forum hype. Is it good, bad, pointless? Go.
No.
Good. Next question.
Okay, we have
Good if you're good.
Good
Bad if you're bad.
It's bad if you're bad.
Get
If you're
good,
sword lord,
kid.
just table that. You're gonna look ridiculous.
Fuck.
you just need to
So
stop.
does it necessarily help your game or hurt it
No.
because of the added pressure?
Oh, hold on. We got a great one. P-Dub says, talk about Gigas from Tekken 7, the newly announced.
Gigas.
Yeah,
I have no idea what that is.
Gigas is a Bane reskin of Marduk.
Yeah, basically. Who does no damage, according to like a video I saw earlier today, which made me bummed out. But like just that character alone, my interest in Tekken 7 went from 0 to moderate.
Wow. Okay.
Well, because like he's a little bit anime and stupid, sure, but he's not a chick. Like so there's that.
No Lucky Cole, huh?
Cole.
Lucky Chloe.
Chloe.
Lucky it's Chloe. I can't pronounce
Chloe.
it. I forget.
Well,
Where'd you get
who was
Cole
the other?
from?
There was. Who was the other character that people didn't like?
The Arabian guy who's like a Assassin's Creed like.
Rosie? The
He's
Filipino?
okay.
I thought it was another
Audio.
chick.
Yeah, Rosie. Because she has Shiva's super.
Yeah, or Josie Rizal or something. Like
Oh.
Oh wait, I forget. Is she the one who's like Oh, I can't remember. I'm trying to think of all the. Is she the one that like supposedly is gonna quote unquote replace Bruce because she's from the same place, or I don't know.
yeah, that's what people are saying.
Yeah, I've heard about that, which is I don't know. I'm content now with Tekken 7 because it has my character, so I'm fine.
Which character is your character?
I play Fang.
Fuck you.
And
Hey man, I mean, some of my stuff's gotten nerfed, so I'm not super OP anymore.
No, well, I don't care about.
Oh, okay. I
Sure.
see. I see this guy.
right?
Yeah. All right.
No,
Amazing.
Gigas is pretty sweet, and I will play him.
sweet.
So I'm guessing he's supposed to take the place of the Jax.
No, he's got Marduk moves.
Yeah, so Jax being brought back, no clue.
Should be.
I hope so. I mean, there was two of them,
Wouldn't
so
feel like
at least
Tekken's no
one of
Jack.
them, should be brought
Who will
back.
Anakin play?
Looks like Splinter Cell or some shit.
Tekken 4 was Jackless,
I mean,
and that's like my favorite Tekken.
I when I think of
Wow.
Gigas, it just looks like a Bioshock reject. But I mean, I don't know.
There's no need to be rude.
Hey man,
Speed round.
This Josie.
Next.
This what? Okay, good.
Oh yeah. So, lightning round. How do you feel about sandbagging before a tournament? Is it a waste of time?
No.
Go.
no.
I think so.
I think so too.
I don't intentionally sandbag, but I definitely put in less effort if it's before a tournament. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
The strength.
Oh well, I think
there's
it
a
was more. I think it was more like sandbagging with characters as opposed to
Or just letting people win.
like
when
playing-
you probably
like
could've
not-
won.
like. Well, I guess I didn't think of it that way. I meant like not playing your main intentionally until the tournament.
I think it's
that's
mostly about
fine.
not disclosing your,
Yeah.
tricks and shit.
Not disclosing your trick status.
My hidden
right.
tech.
My
Not ready for it.
Well, it's hard to have that awkward conversation, like if things are going well, you're gonna sit down with someone new, gonna play some video games, and like we have to have a talk.
My goodness. More lightning round. Next topic.
Yeah.
What's more telling in terms of evaluating skill? Casual sets, tournament sets, or money matches?
Blue Boy before he started
Hello?
winning, and I was about to say, then yeah.
Oh, we're back. All right.
Oh, this guy's like, I won some rounds online, therefore.
I won
I am the
7
best.
rounds. What are we
Well,
talking-
yeah, not get rounds, mind you.
Yeah,
Like,
rounds.
talking
Oh yeah,
about-
round 7
wow.
straight rounds. Wow.
Before they disconnected, that's
Yeah.
that's the hotness.
So he didn't win a single game because they always disconnected.
Yeah.
Sounds amazing.
Just when Blue Boy was about to make a comeback.
The ultimate.
I've played the guy a bunch of times. He's not like city life bad, but he's not
He's
good.
pretty bad.
He's pretty bad.
He's with V's bad.
Oh.
Oh,
Wow,
I don't know about that.
Wow.
These can play.
man.
This guy.
I mean.
No.
Are we talking about with V's
Awesome.
Pyrrha?
Jesus.
Well, it doesn't really matter what character with V's is playing.
Jesus.
Damn.
Man.
Absolutely relentless.
It's the player, not the character. That's basically what you're saying.
I'm not saying nothing.
But in short, yeah, we all know it's fraudulent. But I would like to see like a Thunderdome out of this because Zane did say that he would like to come out of retirement to bring back lifestyle, which is always
Lifestyle.
pleasing. It's always pleasing in this community.
Zane needs to stay in space. He needs to stay in space and like actually drift farther away from Earth.
Yeah, that guy, he just kind of disappeared after NEC.
He doesn't. I know exactly why
He kind of disappeared before NEC. He disappeared before NEC, actually, and he just kind of randomly showed up.
Well, I mean, he's in love now, so he's got other priorities.
Yeah, he found love in space where no other man could.
So he found one of the few bacterial life forms that can survive that harsh cold vacuum, and he made it his own.
Meanwhile, over in Australia, a poor sword lord has not found anything.
He's found.
The kangaroos have denied him.
I'd like him to find some fucking spiders.
The spiders with wings over there.
Yeah.
Spiders.
Man, everybody hates Sword Lord.
Hey man, we got to bring back all the enemies.
Well,
Fully brought it on himself, though.
Get fully about it.
This is true.
I mean, I didn't even know who Sword Lord was until the infamous money match, so...
How could you not know about the infamous sword lord
The
when
Lord of Swords.
Alana Kang was crowned?
Wasn't that after the fact? You're
Yeah.
talking about...
That's
Yeah,
right. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what. Never mind. The Thunderdome was actually way before. Now that I think about it.
No, not Thunderdome. I was talking about the match with Hates. The money match.
That's only known to few, but
I mean,
who
everybody
actually
knows
knew what
that.
happened. Did you go offline?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
I left the Skype call. Or I crashed.
Well, yeah, but now the stream just says offline.
Yeah.
All right, well, we might as well just... end
What?
I mean,
We just end it.
we're dropping frames because Twitch sucks.
Let's just end this shenanigans here.
I don't know why this is not...
I don't know, it's just
Put
not.
a bullet in this fucking stream.
Okay.
Put us down.
Twitch.
It's a mercy killing at this.
Hates is just too good, and Twitch won't allow him to.
I mean, apparently it's been trying to die. I don't know. Yeah.
We keep trying to turn off life support, and we keep plugging it back in.
It's like a Terry Schiavo of video game
Oh
commentary.
my god.
Oh, man.
Wow.
No, she's totally alive. Look at the way she wriggled and drooled.
Oh.
Jesus wants her to be on these machines.
Ugh.
My God.
Okay, well,
Or I could just, we could either end the stream or I could just start saying horribly offensive things till everyone leaves.
Actually, do that. I want that. I want that.
No, wait. Okay, thank you for watching SpectatorCast 8. Thank you for being here, Hates.
This was fun. I appreciate the.
SpectatorCast.
Nice.
All right, man.
All right.
I hope McGee has some editing to do now.
Nah, we do it raw. No editing.
Do it live.
No